Yes, welcome to the world. Well, I can assure you we're just as excited or, well, on the edge of our seats as much as you are watching on your sets. Unbelievable days cricket, well, unbelievable 4 days cricket really throughout this match. I don't know, I just really have a feeling that this tie bit might be the go, cause I know what's happened with the West Indies in Australia before, and just even on the first innings, and West Indies are in the box seat at the moment, but who knows? This fella on strike gets out, really changes.
Second delivery past Sarwan Chanderpaul's outside edge, not by far.
Boy, that was close. This ball's 25 overs old. It's amazing, isn't it? Cricket yesterday, if it had played out yesterday, if there'd been more time yesterday, the West Indies would have romped this in. You've got overnight to think about it, you've got to come back, you've got to get started again. All of a sudden, it's fairly even keel.
Tie question mark you saw in the tail of the track. Tomo has just raised it, and perhaps portents for it in that another international team played out a tie yesterday in England with Zimbabwe, playing out a tie with Worcestershire in their opening first-class match of the tour. Is that a no-man? Well, as you mentioned, Tom, well, these two teams have a quite remarkable record of close matches. Not only that first tie in Test cricket, that tour itself had very close finishes. Australia hanging on in Adelaide. Then back in '93, there was that one-run victory for West Indies in Adelaide. One-wicket victories, Melbourne in 1951-52 for Australia. 1999 for the West Indies in Barbados.
I tell you another unusual stat in this game. This fella on screen hasn't bowled from the northern end, downwind. I don't think at any time in this match. And the reason being, I think he's been the best into the wind bowler. Steve Waugh's kept him into the wind to keep it tight. I'm pretty certain Gillespie has not bowled downwind, which is unbelievable. He's been the best bowler in this series for Australia.
Maiden over to start off with, so the West Indies still need 47 more. Australia still need 4 wickets. Has been given the opportunity of bowling downwind from the pavilion end. So Bretley, it will be, there's a fair crowd, and certainly a good one for a last day of a match with only 47 more or 4 wickets to get. So we've got a good crowd in. There's Winston Benjamin, one of the many Test cricketers from Antigua who's around here. He assists Andy Roberts with the preparation of the pitch. He does a lot of coaching. Here now is Bretley to Omari Banks.
Well, I thought this might be the attack this morning. Lee downwind. Wasn't too sure on who would be upwind, but obviously Gillespie, as I said before, the best choice into the wind. They can't afford to give him too much room here, Brett Lee. He's got to bowl tight in at him. Just 2 slips. So Steve Waugh, as much as he'd like to attack and get a wicket, he's got to take a wicket. He can't be over-attacking. He can't give away runs. There's a third man down there, Darren Lehman.
First ball that hits the bat for the day. She's coming and certainly enjoying it. Yeah, come on, Windies.
It's amazing, isn't it? Even the youngster gets the vibes on what's going on. There's an idea of the crowd in here for possibly a touch over an hour's play. They've all turned up. It's pretty well the same as what yesterday afternoon was, capacity-wise.
Well, we've seen her on the screen several times during the test match, jumping when Jermaine Lawson was letting it fly on the opening day. Very depressed when the West Indies were down, and when the West Indies are up, she's up too. West Indies, if they wanted someone at number 8 in the order, calm, cool, collected, he's the man. He's only 20 years of age, and he's played in his 2 test matches so far like a veteran. It's been a rough initiation for him. Over 200 runs taken off him in Barbados from his off spin. Over 100 here. Yet it just hasn't fazed him.
Well, Coz, when you haven't been beaten too much, as in a young bloke in the side, all you think about is winning.
He is from Anguilla, and someone from there said, well, you know, you're surprised that he's so really cool and calm. He's been playing in his father's band, Banky Banks, on the guitar, they reckon, since he was 12 years old, appearing before crowds of 20, 25,000. So why would he be nervous here?
Well, there you go. It's amazing what things tune you up for, doesn't it, in life?
That ends the second over, so the West Indies yet to score a run. Bit of pressure building, 371 for 6. Test series finishing off as it started and has been all the way through in beautiful weather. Lovely sunny day. Nice clear light. Vaspert Drakes is down to come next, and he was in the middle just doing a little visualization before they start a play. He'll hope that he won't have to come in.
Yes, I'd love to know what was going through their minds, the tail enders, the ones that haven't batted last night. Should they get their chance? How they go about it, what they think about. Yesterday afternoon, you don't get much time to think about it. You're there in the heat of the moment, but now you go away and you've got 12 hours rest or whatever, or 12 hours break. I think, well, boy, what if he gets out? I've got to get in there. Some people dread it, other people would love to take it on. Cricket is a huge mental game. It's fairly huge physical when you think of 6-7 hours in the field every day, but mentally, that's where you've got to be strong.
First runs of the day, just a single.
Good shot for one, wasn't it? Nice gentle push. I think the outstanding part of Chanderpaul's innings has been his timing. I don't think he's mishit too many deliveries whatsoever. He waits, hits the ball late. That's why on a pitch like this it holds up a bit, why he times it so well regularly. The one thing I thought unusual in the previous over when Lee bowled was to Banks. He had 2 men out in the hook and no gully. And if I was bowling Banks, I'd back myself for the gully. I wouldn't have thought he was going to take Lee on for the hook. Anyway, he's just got the one man out behind square.
Hit that hard into the ground. He likes to drive, Banks. I suppose we can go back, Tomo, to a match you played at the MCG against England back in that 82-83 series for a similarity with Australia resuming at 255 for 9 with Border on 44 and 1 Thompson on 8, and you needed, I think, 37 more to win the match. Last wicket together, and you carried it within 3 runs of victory, and then an edge to slip, dropped I believe by Brady and taken on the rebound by Miller.
Well, that was nearly that edge we're talking about. That's why I think the gully is a good man to Banks. He loves to try and drive through the cover. Flashing at this one again. You can see it's going to be an outswinger. He's not quite within reach of that. We're just getting back to that match you're talking about, guys. People ask, were you nervous at the time? And I wasn't nervous. I mean, you're either going to win or lose. So I just had in my mind we're always going to win. So you don't have a negative thought. If you get out, people expect it. If I win, they're going to think it's great.
Yeah, the crowd likes that one this time. End of the over, 372 for 6. Indies have eked out 1 run from 3 overs. Reduce their target to 46. Australia still need 4 wickets. Crowd continuing to build. They know that they have the opportunity of seeing history made here today. And even if that doesn't attract them, they have the chance of seeing an exciting finish. Chanderpaul will face Lee for the first time. Lee round the wicket. Down Chanderpaul goes. Big breakthrough for Australia. Is that the match? Chanderpaul has added 1 wonderful innings yesterday. Ended today with the addition of only 1 run. Gilchrist takes the catch. Thick edge. Glum faces for West Indians, but it isn't over yet. It's 372 for 7, still 46 more to get.
Disappointment there for Chanderpaul. This ball, I think, has got to be wide, just by the way it looked like he played at it. Certainly has just moved off the pitch a little. Good low-down catch there from Gilchrist. Now that's a huge wicket for the Aussies. He's the man they wanted to remove. It's going to be difficult now for the West Indies. A lot of pressure on the tail. 372 for 7.
Banks comes in now. He's been visualizing out in the middle before the start of play. Got a big job on for him now at the dismissal of Chanderpaul, the century maker from overnight, going with the addition of only one run to the first ball he faced from Brett Lee for the day.
Well, that would have changed the odds huge time on the outcome of this match. Mind you, these two can still bat pretty well, Drakes and Banks. He's held Australia up on previous occasions several times. So this is how the wicket fell. Now you may say that's pretty wide chasing the ball, but what happened was Lee went around the wicket. And when you go around the wicket like that, he probably thought it's angled in more, feels like he has to play at that ball. But in hindsight, when he sees the replay, he'll say, why did I chase that? And it just decked a little. Not a bad delivery from Lee. Good piece of work. Chanderpaul disappointed. That's why I say if this had continued last night, you could bet he would have been there hitting the winning runs. Not today.
That's a nice shot. They'll come back for a second and have to hurry, and they do. That's good running. They've got to put some pressure on the field, and they've done that. So couple to Drakes gets him off the mark.
Yeah, he's got a good technique, Basper. Gets forward, gets over the top of that delivery.
Lee got him in the first innings with a full-length ball, leg before wicket. He was a night watchman in the first innings, played pretty well.
Yeah, that's all he's got to watch out for. Occasionally he walks across the stumps. He's got to watch out for that one that comes back.
Merv Dillon and Jermaine Lawson are the remaining batsmen. These two are perhaps just about in the category of all-rounders if you're talking a lower level than this, first-class level, test match level. You'd have to say that they're batsmen they're bowlers who are useful batsmen rather than being all-rounders. But Drakes coming into the West Indies team late in life because of the fact that he's spent the last 6 or 7 years playing overseas rather than in the Caribbean. And was disqualified from selection because of that. Got 4 first-class hundreds during his career. Played in South Africa and in England in addition to the Caribbean. Very experienced cricketer.
Well, that's right. He spent a lot of time on bouncier wickets. That's why this shouldn't prove too hard.
One more run. We'll have the strike at the end of a successful over from Brett Lee. The West Indies at 375 for 7 are 43 runs away. Australia need 3 wickets. Insertion in the scoreboard that West Indians were fearing this morning. Perhaps didn't expect. Chanderpaul first to go, just adding 1 before he edged the first ball he faced from Lee to the keeper. Out for 104. It brings Drakes in, and Drakes has already got 3. He's now going to face Gillespie.
Basper Drakes throughout this series, I said, has been handy with the ball in the field and with the bat. He's contributed. Well, some of those ones there mightn't look that much, but he spent a bit of time at the crease. If he gets a 20 out here today, they'll get him over the line. You'd imagine somebody else stays at the other end.
Change in field placing now. Strength on the offside field for Drakes. Put in the man at deepish cover. Crowd very much into it, almost as much as the players on the field. Concentration is there, tension is there. An unforgettable test match, this one. Good crowd in to see the conclusion.
Well, nice stroke for nothing, isn't it? Steve Waugh's got himself in the engine room there at the shortish cover position. Right in their face.
Really very strong protection on that offside against Drakes. Likes to drive, offside player. Australian tactics here, quite obvious. Just dry the runs up. Got all day to get these wickets. They've got one already. Ensure that the scoring rate, which rattled along yesterday so quickly, doesn't do the same thing today.
Well, there's no hurry, is there? It doesn't matter how many maidens they play out, as long as they get to feel the bat on the ball and keep it out.
I suppose they're going on the theory that late order batsmen just don't like to play out maidens. Just like to feel the bat in the ball, get some runs on the board. Just the single, nice drive, but that man up there is protecting. Limits him to a single, gets him the strike, 376 for 7. Has gone back to applause from the spectators down there for an over in which the batsman didn't have to play 5 deliveries. Now lead to Drakes. So waiting for Waugh to get into position.
Well, he still got those two men out on the hook. This was the last delivery of Gillespie's previous over. Little bit of indecision there with the running. It was always going to be a single. The staggered offside field there. Steve Waugh's in close for the single. Cut off the cover drives, and then he's also got the backup man 2/3 the way to the fence. A little bit different for Lee because he's quicker. regulation cover fielder. They're all in line there. Oh, he's reaching a little one for that one there. Get the pad out next to the bat. Just sometimes Vasper doesn't move his feet properly. That's why he's been caught a couple of times. LBW caught on the crease, sorry, not caught behind. Hit him on the pad, shuffling across the crease.
Screamer, absolute screamer. Drakes did well, rocked his head back, and then it's the land of the limbo dance.
I was going to say, lucky he's a West Indian. The limbo came in handy here. Feet stay anchored. Zoom. Did really well. Made sure he dropped the hands and bat out the way. How do you think you'd handle that at home, you viewers? Wake you up at this time of night, wouldn't it?
Good limbo posture there by Drakes.
Yeah.
One, only one. No, said Banks, and I reckon about 4,000 of the West Indians around the ground.
That's the trouble. He's got two men out for the hook for what reasons I don't know with these two. I don't think they'll try and hook the lead for certain. And that leaves a simple signal like that. Should he get on the body, which he did.
More needed. Look at the Australian second innings of 417. They had a last wicket partnership of 29. Of course, Steve Waugh, specialist batsman, was in. But Glenn McGrath got 14. West Indies could do with a 14 here from someone like Drakes. Of course, they could do with a lot more than that. The over, 377 for 7. Drake's now in strike. He's had 15 deliveries in the partnership. Banks has only had 2. And the West Indies still 41 away. Australia 3 wickets away. In the commentary box now, David Hooks, and with him, Ian Bishop.
Thank you, Tony. And what a morning of Test cricket. Just 6 runs in the first half an hour. And every one of those etched in the minds and the memories of all the people at the ground. They still seem a long way away. 41 runs. As Jeff Thompson said, if the game was continuing last night, the West Indies probably would have won it in the canter. But it's the break that's put the pressure on. And as we say good morning to Ian Bishop, some very good bowling by the Australians in Brett Lee and Jason Gillespie this morning.
Playing on the patience of the West Indian batsmen at the crease. There is no need to rush and try to bowl a wicket-taking delivery each time you run up 2 of the stumps. Work yourself into a plan. Be patient. They've got all day That would have been the advice from Steve Waugh. If you try to over-attack, then runs can be given away. Runs are at a premium at the moment.
Strong offside field. Just 2 men on the leg side, and it's going to be hard to pierce that leg side of the offside. Justin Langer, bit of a fumble, but no run. They're not going to take the risk on a run out.
Good call from Omari Banks as well. Now you'll see the misfield. Good fielding from Langer. And you tell yourself, well, it might be one, but it's a non-striker's call. It's gone behind the striker. And the angle didn't give Omari Banks a very good view to determine whether there was a run or not. Better to be safe.
In the air, nobody there to catch it, and they'll get a single as well. Well, it was a fast, accurately directed bouncer. He got himself in a bit of trouble because the ball was aimed straight at the head, but only 2 men on the leg side, fine leg and wide mid on. And in the end, Gilchrist was the closest man to it.
He hasn't played the hook shot at all in this series. You're right, the line was good quicker and it also bounced a bit. Fortunately for Drakes, landed in vacant territory. Marks would have skipped a few beats. 40 to win.
Crowd coming in as this game unfolds. And Gillespie, what can he do for his country? And that's what they're thinking about now. The Australians have obviously sat down in the change room this morning and made a pact to all wear the famous baggy green cap. There is nobody of the Australian team in the white floppy. It's a tradition that Steve Waugh started whenever they're bowling for their first session. That could be late on the first day. If they bat first, it could be the second morning. But the first time, to my knowledge, they've worn it late in an innings. So they understand the historic nature of today. One side will create history, the side that wins. West Indies will set the highest ever chase to win a match in the 4th innings, and Australia will be the first touring side to win 4 games in the Caribbean. It's 378 for second. Nervous time in the Australian challenger, and Ricky Ponting in the middle there. And with him a couple of stragglers in Merv Hughes and Colin Miller. Trying to ease the tension. Merv kissing blokes and licking their ears. He had another go at it. Well, that's not going to be the way to win the match, I wouldn't have thought. If you haven't brought the hook shot out all summer, you suddenly don't bring it out now.
Not against Brett Lee. Not when he's fresh in the morning. Because he's very, very quick. And if you're trying to fetch it from outside off stump with 2 men behind square on the leg side, then you're asking for trouble. 2 men posted for the hook. There's an aggressive intent from Vasper Drakes and Omari Banks this morning. Haven't had much opportunity. They seem intent on playing aggressively at anything in their arc.
Flicked away. There are 2 men there, but it may go between the 2 of them. It has. The first boundary of the morning between Gillespie and MacGill. And the attempted Yorker strained down leg side and flicked away nicely in between the 2 men who are out there for the hook shot. So a boundary, and it's down to 36.
This is where he's strong, Vasper Drakes. Looking for the LBW decision as well. Drakes has been LBW a couple of times in the series, just inside half of the bat with the late movement. And the extra piece of Brett Lee bisecting the 2 fielders on the leg side. This is all he's got to wait for. This is a strong area.
Got to go there. Lee's really standard delivery when he's bowling full is the one that drifts into the right-handed batsman. We've seen him bowl some blistering Yorkers, some late in-swing. So Drake's got to think, well, I'm not going to get many runs on the offside of Lee. He doesn't bowl a lot on offside to drive. Most of Lee's deliveries to score from are on the stumps, but most times drifting into the pads. So fortunately for Drake's, that's his strength. He has to make sure he doesn't edge the one outside off stump and wait for the ball on stumps. And that's the odd scoring shot on the offside. So single, and every run that's counted here and scored, everybody is getting involved.
We saw Brian Lara in the background of the West Indies dressing room. He would have said to his players, you go out there and play the way you know how to do. Don't inhibit yourself in spite of the atmosphere, in spite of the crowd. Stay within your strong areas. Stay within your game plan. If it's there, try to put it away.
Flicked away, third man is Lehman. He does the mopping up.
There he is. Omari Banks, first run of the day. It's taken a long time, some 40 minutes.
Banks has faced 90 deliveries for his 29. Drake's 23 for his 11. Drake's on strike. Last ball of Lee's over. He's got another go at it. And he'll get a single too. Australians won't mind, but they would like to get him out. It's 385 for 7. Statistic. The West Indies need 33 to win. They've got all day to do it. So one would think that lunchtime there's going to be some celebration and some disappointment with these two teams. He slashed at it. Third man is there. MacGill is the man down at third man. So they're going to play the natural game to some extent, but they just still have to do what Chanderpaul didn't do, still pick the right ball that's near enough in their area.
You look back at the history of West Indies cricket over the last 3, 4, maybe 5 years, and what is good about this team is not only the length or the depth of the specialist batsmen, but we've now got 2 guys, specialist bowlers, who can bat. That has not always been the case over the last 5 or 6 years. Omari Banks showing great potential, and Vasper Drake's deemed as an all-rounder. Depth in batting at this level of cricket is important. Everyone must learn how to handle themselves. Big decision for Steve Waugh as well. How long can Jason Gillespie and Brett Lee carry on? Very, very hot here at the Antigua Recreation Ground today. Not as overcast as the first 3 days of the match. Their energies will be draining. He's got to decide what happens next. Will it be Stuart MacGill who's gone for a few runs?
Slashed away again. It's going through the covers. Will it get to the fence? It will. 4 runs. Bickle doing the chasing. In the end, he got himself in a bit of a tangle and had to dive the same way the ball was going. Misread his jump. And another boundary. It's under 30 to win. 28 to win.
Super shot from Omari Banks. Staying within his positive stroke play. First boundary of the morning for him. No chance for Andy Bickle. Short side of the ground, downhill.
5 runs from the over so far. He's had a go at that, but he won't get it past Lehman. The Australians have called for a helmet. That's Jimmy Marr with the pads and the helmet. I would dare suggest that means that MacGill will be given a bowl. And if you're going to bowl MacGill, this is the time to bowl him with near enough the maximum amount of runs left, that is 28. You're not going to bring him on with 4 or 5 runs to get. Domestic cricket in Australia, Steve Waugh went to MacGill against Western Australia, and Western Australia lost 5 for 24, chasing a target of 26. So he'll go to MacGill. He's shown wonderful composure, Omari Banks. 20 years of age, second test match, and his technique's been very good. And when you come in as a 20-year-old in front of somebody who is 33 and with 4 first-class centuries at your name, you realise that Omari Banks can play. He's been very good. Took some stick with the ball in his first 2 test matches, but had a number of catches dropped, had some poor fielding off his bowling, and his figures don't reflect how he's bowled, but he's been able to forget all that when he's come out with a bat in his hand and show great composure and skill. Young man facing Gillespie. Wide, and they'll get a single. Into the over. It's just 27 to win. Steve Waugh, plenty to think about. Very experienced captain. Hasn't been in this situation too often though in recent times. Australia has been the #1 cricket nation in the world and won lots and lots of test matches. And now he's going to his leg spin. Not a bad decision. He's going to spin the ball away from these 2 batsmen. Banks played him very well yesterday. Both tall men, so they're about to get down to the stride. But what they can't afford to do is hit against the spin. And even late last night, we saw Banks hit a ball that wasn't quite a half volley to mid-on for 4 off Stuart MacGill. A dangerous shot. He got away with it last night, but they want to play with the spin this morning.
You make that point, and it's going to be an interesting one for Omari Banks, because in as much as it's a dangerous shot, it's a shot that he scored a few runs off Stuart MacGill in the series in Barbados as well. Plays the on drive very well. He's not afraid to hit it over the top. Glenn McGrath is back at long on. He's not at mid on, and there's a deep mid wicket as well as a deep backward square. Darren Lehman now wobbles across to the offside, and Andy Bickle, previously a deep mid wicket, comes into that straightish mid wicket position.
I would have thought moves gracefully like a cheetah. Would have been a little bit fairer than Waddles across. I think he'll take Waddle. He's out in the middle though. That's the most important thing for Darren Lehman and all of these players. No matter what happens, the game is on. 27 to win. MacGill's first ball is good. We've spoken about it often. What MacGill can't do naturally is bowl that line just outside leg stump spinning across the right-hander. Unfair at times, I know, to compare it to the Shane Warne direction, but he is the best. And that's the sort of line that would be outstanding now for these men down the bottom of the order.
Oh!
No man on the fence on the offside. So that'll encourage both Banks on 34 and Drake's on 13 to hit through the offside. And even I would imagine if it becomes a half volley, a wide half volley, they'll be quite happy to go over the top, as long as they do it on the offside. Cut shot past the man at Gully and Hayden. Did he get a hand to it? Will it go for 4? It's being pursued vigorously. 4 runs. It went quite sharply past Hayden's right-hand side. And I think the ball actually got past him before he actually closed his hands. So not a chance. But an invaluable boundary down to 23.
He went hard at it. That was the key. He went hard and it flew off. He took a brilliant catch to dismiss Brian Lara and Trinidad Matthew Hayden. Just might be a costly half chance.
Desperate dive. Falling short again. So the Australians have had 2 desperate dives. One from Bickle in the previous over off Gillespie, and then one from Langer just a couple of balls to go down at third man. Both unsuccessful. 2 boundaries. So down to 23 to win. 3 wickets in hand still. Oh! Not sure whether he picked it or not. Only 2 men on the leg side of the fence now. The run's just a fraction short. The man's for the sweep and the man's at long on. Strong run. 23 to win. He can do. Only 2 sides have scored over 400 to win. 404 for 3 Australia way back in 1948. And India in Trinidad in 1976, 406. They lost just 4 wickets. So wickets in hand have been the key in those 2 results. The West Indies have 3 of those in hand at the moment. The other interesting part about the 400 statistic is that should the West Indies get to 400, that will be the 13th occasion in Test cricket history that a side has made 400 in the 4th innings. But on only 2 of those occasions has a side won. Some losses and some draws amongst the other 11. Two slips, third man, and a man at cover on the fence for that shot if he goes through with it. He thought about it for a long time. The ball's on its way down. He got in a very good position, Drakes, and then let it go. Looks like there's lots of green areas for the ball to go in there. Lots of runs, but it's not that easy. Gillespie's got his outswing or leg cutter, if you like, going. He is going to bowl outside that off stump for the majority of his time. 23 to win.
It's a good solid defensive shot from Basket Drakes. Important here that he's made every effort to get forward. Didn't get very far forward. Full concentration. This is where years of professional experience, I suppose, will help in this situation, help him to stay focused in the moment and not think about what can happen 10 minutes from now or what has happened before. Just concentrating on what is coming at him at the moment.
Again, Gillespie's bowling outside that off stump. Tempting. So Drakes and Banks are together. He really is concentrating. And interestingly enough, both these men are very inexperienced at test level. But you've got the opposite end of the spectrum as far as cricket is concerned. 33-year-old Drakes played a lot of cricket. And young Omari Banks just 21st class game. So you've got the youthful ignorance with the wise old head of the pro. But it's the next level up. Can they do it? 23 to win, West Indies.
Just be focusing on the scoreboard at the moment for the West Indians. 23 to win. Next objective will be to take the required runs down to below 20. Psychological target as much as a real one.
There to go, and over the bat. That's what happens when you've got a man of Gillespie's pace tempting you outside off stump. Still 23 to win. Just goes to show what a good pitch does. It creates good cricket right throughout this test match. Both sides making 240 in the first innings. Australia 417 in the second. And now the West Indies 23 runs short of winning this match.
Error of judgment from Vasper Drakes, just wafting outside the off stump, not with the ideal length, probably not short enough, not wide enough. And tension does get to you after a while, but he survived it.
Down.
That's that on drive he likes to play. It's a dangerous shot against the ball that is turning so much. We are in the 5th morning, of course, so it's going to turn as much, if not more, today. Not quite so bad. There was a half volley, but there's a man at long on in McGrath. So it's a risky shot for a single. If McGrath is up at mid-on and you want to play it, well, you might roll the dice, but it seems an enormously risky shot to hit against the leg spin when you can only get a single. MacGill concentrating, as are the batsmen and the crowd. Full toss. You get it past, only get a single. 22 to win.
And Jason Gillespie has bowled all morning. And Glenn McGrath had a little confrontation yesterday with one or two of the West Indian batsmen. I don't know what part he can play, if any.
Big shout, plenty of people around the bat. Big shout, long stride. And the turning cricket ball cost MacGill the chance.
So he looked as though he got outside the line of off stump. Yeah, it seemed to be the flipper, that he was playing a shot and struck outside the line of off stump. So quite rightly not given out.
He's gone for it. The man's up. Will it go for 6? Will it go for 6? Yes, it will. The top of the grandstand. So against the leg spinner MacGill, it wasn't quite a half volley, but it nearly went 2 parishes away. It was stopped by the top of the grandstand. That is a massive blow, and it's down to 16 with 3 wickets in hand.
Absolutely fantastic shot from Basper Driggs. He's been very, very positive in this innings. This is huge in terms of distance and psychologically.
We thought about it again. That would have hurt the Australians. A 6 followed by a 4. Gus Logie applauds the end of the over. They're over 400. This is just the 13th time in Test cricket history. They need 16 to win. Banks on 39. The aggressive Drake's 19. Big crowd in here this morning. There was some speculation they would throw the gates open. There's been no need to, because they have come in their droves today to watch this match this morning. Just 16 to win. Australia still needs 3 wickets, and that was one that was close.
Another loose shot. We've seen a few of them. There's a puff of dust as it hits the pitch. Carrying to Gilchrist anyway. Too wide outside the off stump and just shaping away. So loose shot. Tension all around. Next to the players' pavilion. Standing room only.
Over 400. What a performance. Brian Lara contributing just, in inverted commas, 60. Brian Lara was out in the middle of the day yesterday, and they were still over 250 behind when Lara was dismissed, and everybody thought the game was over. The crowd was on fire. Lara hitting 3 sixes yesterday in 4 balls, and this was just the second last ball of MacGill's previous over, and that is a long hit right on the top of the grandstand, just to do some damage to the ball as well. So when Lara was dismissed, the crowd were on fire. Then he got dismissed, and they just created a hush around the ground. But it's been a buzz since around about an hour to go last night. Sarwan getting 100, Chanderpaul getting 100. Chanderpaul out early this morning, adding just 1 to his overnight score. Chasing a wide one from Brett Lee, caught behind. Inside edge, and they'll get themselves 1. They'll look for 2, but no, they'll be satisfied with a single, down to 15.
These guys will be happy to see it, and I agree with your point. They'll be happy to see other players doing it. They'll be happy to see a team performance as opposed to everything being on the shoulders of 1 player or 2 players, namely Brian Lara, maybe Sarwan Chanderpaul. Everyone has contributed. 100 to Sarwan, 100 to Chanderpaul, half century to Lara. Contributions, valuable, invaluable contributions from Banks and Drakes up to this point.
Two men out for the hook shot. Drakes has played it unsuccessfully a couple of times this morning. There it is again. On that occasion, let it go.
It's going to be hard to hook that, isn't it? This is what you like to see, the action with the bat and the ball, not too much in terms of verbals. Brilliant line of the delivery. Over middle stump. Last throw of the dice really by the Australians. 15 runs left.
Still 2 men out for the hook shot. Bad one. Bad delivery, and Gillespie fast and furious and wide, and it's a warning from Venkat, but in the end Gilchrist had to do well to save the boundary.
Just letting Jason Gillespie know that 2 short deliveries for the over. Glenn McGrath has been rolling the shoulders as a change in the field as well, with the 2 short deliveries bowled and being told officially the deep backward square has been removed, and put back into slip. So another alteration in the plan. Last delivery of the over.
He's unable to bowl another bounce from this over. That's why the man from back of Swilling has gone to second slip. 4 runs over the top of the stumps. 4 runs down to 10 runs to win, 12 runs to win. So you need some luck. Gillespie's not getting it. Drake's on 23, Banks on 40, and that ends the over at 407 for 7 as Drinks come onto the oval. So the West Indies need just 11 runs for this historic victory. Australia still need 3 wickets. 407 for 7. What a day's cricket.
French cut. And maybe this is a shot that just takes all the wind out of the sails of the Australians. Fortune going the way of the West Indies on this occasion. And you cannot begrudge them. They deserve some ill luck in this match.
Well, there's going to be plenty of discussion at the drinks break. As we go to the drinks break on this last day of what's been a fascinating test match, full of controversy, full of conflict. And I do believe there will be a result after the drinks break.
Steve O really concentrating very hard and thinking about what next to do in this very, very entertaining and intriguing test match. 11 more runs needed by the West Indies. 3 more wickets needed for Australia. First hour's play, and everyone that has come into the ground, whether they be Australian or supporting the West Indies, have been entertained. Not too sure how many fingernails are left, but they are still managing a smile on either side. Stuart MacGill to continue. Who would have thought this, Mark?
Not yesterday. I wouldn't have thought this at all, Mike.
Oh, great air,
West Indies have played magnificently this morning. Basbert Drakes and Omari Banks have worked this partnership out perfectly. Basbert Drakes playing his shots, Omari Banks batting very solidly at the other end.
Well, there's no one close in on the onside. No signal coming from umpire Shepherd, so that's a run to Omari Banks. Don't think the West Indies really mind which way they do come, whether it's off the pad or off the bat. Omari Banks moves on to 4-1. What an innings this has been by the young man. That puts Basbert Drakes back on strike. The field changes slightly. Mid-wicket comes in now. The man at second slip disappears. 10 runs to get for the West Indies. Was thinking of a run, while the Australians were thinking of a wicket. Basbert Drakes was thinking, is the finger going to be going up?
That's the one out the front of the hand from Stuart MacGill, skidding on. Oh, that is absolutely plumb, I think. I think that's hitting middle stump, halfway up. David Shepherd. I'd like to see David Shepherd stand at the stumps a bit longer. He's on his way out to square leg.
Oh, yes.
The interesting thing is whether David Shepherd is thinking that the ball is turning. If he's saying it's turning, there's no way it's going to hit the stumps from that distance.
I think that one's just pitched outside leg stump, only just. The ball before pitched in line and just held its line. Not a long way forward, fair stride, but certainly not going over the stumps. Just a matter of whether it's holding its line or sliding down the leg side.
Oh! Having some close calls here, Vasbert Drakes. That first LBW certainly was very, very close. Very close. It couldn't have been closer.
Here's the first shout in the over. From that angle, pitching middle, just straightened. Not sure where that's going apart from middle stump, Mike. What do you think?
Yes, that seemed to be going straight on. Wasn't a big leg spinner, the usual big leg spinner you see from Stuart MacGill. Big shout again. Again, Shepherd isn't interested. Very good over that from Stuart MacGill. It's 408 for 7. Jason Gillespie has the ball in his hands, but skipper Steve Waugh says no, I'll have a change. Let's go with the old stalwart Glenn McGrath. We know he's not the quickest in the world, Glenn McGrath, but he's accurate. I've now been flanked by the Aussies. Mark Waugh to my right and David Hooks to my left. What do you think of this move, Hooksy?
You sitting there, you're a rose amongst two thorns, I can assure you of that. But they had to make a move at some stage. McGrath is Australia's most experienced bowler. He's been not in this situation before. But I think, Mark, with McGrath, you know what you get. I think that's what Steve's aiming for.
Well, he's a great bowler, Glenn McGrath. He hasn't got 400 test wickets by chance. Always has that knack of getting wickets when they're most needed, and Steve Waugh rightly going to his most experienced and best bowler at a time when he certainly needs at least one wicket right now.
Well, I think Jason Gillespie perhaps this morning was asked to play a containing role. He was bowling wide of off stump throughout most of his spell. I would think perhaps 75–80% of his spell the batsman didn't have to play. Now Steve Waugh realizes I've got to take wickets, no more containment.
Yeah, well, Jason Gillespie bowled 7 overs for 14. Virtually bowled liner length, shorter length outside off stump every delivery.
That's run down the third man, another single. Every run being shared by this pretty big crowd. Runs required now into single figures.
Well, everybody's been involved in this game from late yesterday afternoon. As we said earlier, there's a hush around the ground when Brian Lara was dismissed in the middle of the day. Still over 250 runs shy of the target. And what a moment for this crowd who've come in their droves this morning. Just 9 runs to win, 9 runs to set a world record. Australia needs 3 wickets to win this match.
Another change in the field. Every time Vasbert Drakes is on strike, the deep backward square leg comes in. He may attempt the hook at Glenn McGrath. He's a lot slower. I think you'll see Glenn McGrath bowling a lot straighter than Jason Gillespie did, because he too realizes that they have got to take wickets. 3 wickets to get.
I think in this situation, Mervyn Dillon next in the bat. We know how he'd be feeling. He'd be extremely nervous. They're hoping these two get the West Indies to 418. I think Glenn McGrath needs to vary his deliveries. The odd bounce and the odd slower ball.
Well, Vasbert Drakes had been the more aggressive of the two in this partnership. Partnership producing 37 runs. Drakes has scored 23 of those 37 runs. Omari Banks certainly has shown that he has what it takes to play at this level. Hasn't panicked at any stage. There's the bouncer. He thought about it, Vasbert Drakes.
I think one of the few times in this series the West Indies have actually had a plan. They've gone out there with a plan. One of the batsmen to play their shots. The other batsmen play nice and solid at the other end. They've thought about their cricket today. Their cricket awareness has been below average, I think, first three tests. But this test, they've really picked up that area of their game. And they're looking like a decent test playing nation at the moment.
One run coming from that Glenn McGrath over. It's 409 for 7. West Indies. 9 more runs required. 3 wickets still needed for Australia to be the first team ever to tour the Caribbean and to win 4 test matches. 9 runs for the West Indies to set another world record, the highest total chased in the 4th innings, and successfully getting there. And that's not the leg back, but it's going a long way. We wait on umpire Shepherd. It gets to the boundary now. It's runs. 4 more runs to Omari Banks. That moves him on to 46, and the West Indies creep yet closer. A handful of runs required.
Doesn't matter how you get them off the inside edge, the middle of the bat. Full toss from Stuart MacGill and Omari Banks. Got an inside edge. Raced away fine down to fine leg. There's no one there. West Indies 5 runs to victory.
Big shout again, but not interested is David Shepherd. He wasn't interested earlier on. I don't really see him changing his mind.
It's a cricket ball from Stuart MacGill again. Maybe missing off that one. Good call from David Shepherd. Just held its line. Pitched in line. It was actually the straight ball, but it did turn enough to be missing off stump, and there was enough doubt for David Shepherd.
Right now, their first smile of the morning. Martin Love at first flip. Banks was dropped when he was on 2. He's now 46, and the score was 290. So it's now 413. So a costly miss.
Full toss. Didn't quite get hold of it, Omari Banks. Just a single. Now just a boundary required by the West Indies.
Well, what a moment. The crowd have gone on their feet. There's nobody sitting who support the West Indies. They are up there as they should be. They came in early this morning hoping and praying for this situation to get down to a chance to win the match. They lost Chanderpaul very early in the day, and yet the emotion is still there. A chance to win this game, a chance to set some fabulous history after being thrashed in the first 3 test matches. 2 inexperienced men at the crease.
Omari Banks says no run there. He won't be taking any chances at this stage.
Who would have thought the West Indian crowds would have been jumping for joy a week ago in Barbados. Even the players down and out after 3 tests. But have a look at the faces there. Smiles etched on their faces, hoping for more runs.
Spear a thought from Mervyn Dillon in the dressing room. He's next in. That's powerful hit, and that's it. The West Indies have won. Basper Drakes has hit the winning run, and what a win for the West Indies. Set a target of 418. A world record victory this by the West Indies. The biggest total ever chased in the 4th innings to achieve victory.